It's not just Dr. Anthony Fauci going up against Donald Trump anymore. Another member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, Deborah Birx, is now speaking up against the administration's policies with the virus. We are entering the most concerning and most deadly phase of this pandemic, leading to increasing mortality, Birx, the coordinator of the task force, said in a recent report. This is not about lockdowns. It hasn't been about lockdowns since March or April. It's about an aggressive balanced approach that is not being implemented. Birx's thoughts go further than Fauci's, the nation's top infectious disease specialist. It all shows how much the task force is in conflict with Trump's claims and downplaying of the virus. Her notes also highlight the risks of the pandemic, with it being predicted to increase the death toll as the weather grows colder and less people begin to change their behavior. An administration official who works with Birx noted, "She feels like she's being ignored." Another official said Birx's message has been urgent for weeks and that the same applies to the plea for the administration to ask the American people to use masks, avoid gatherings, and socially distance, basically since it became apparent that we were heading into a third surge. Cases are rapidly rising in nearly 30% of all USA counties, the highest number of county hotspots we have seen with this pandemic, spelled out the report. Half of the United States is in the red or orange zone for cases despite flat or declining testing. Like past reports, Birx's missive calls for much more aggressive action from messaging to testing, to surging personnel around the country before the crisis point. It goes on to say what is essential at this time point is consistent messaging about uniform use of masks, physical distancing, and hand washing with profound limitation on indoor gatherings, especially with family and friends. Birx adds, "This is about empowering Americans with the knowledge and data for decision-making to prevent community spread and save lives." Trump, however, has a new coronavirus advisor, Scott Atlas, a neuroradiologist who does not have infectious disease experience. He believes in the herd immunity approach to let the young, healthy people get sick and infect the older and less healthy, to get over the virus more quickly. White House Communications Director Alyssa Farah disagreed with the report that the Trump administration's response has been inadequate. She went on to list assorted ways the administration has helped those dealing with the disease or fighting it, completely missing the report's point. Birx also disputes Trump's claim that virus cases are only increasing because of increases in testing. The report says that while testing is flat, a rising number of tests are positive, which suggests community spread is much worse than is evident by current measurements. A report from a few weeks ago stuck to the same theme and highlighted in bold, "There is an absolute necessity of the administration to use this moment to ask the American people to wear masks, physical distance, and avoid gatherings in both public and private spaces." On the same day of that report, Trump held two large rallies in Michigan and Wisconsin. Birx is said to be close to Vice President Mike Pence, and unlike Fauci, who has been a civil servant since 1984, Birx was handpicked to head up the task force and has been praised by Trump. Fauci discussed in an interview last week how he and Birx had lost favor with Trump. They needed to have a medical message that was essentially consistent with what they were saying, and one of the ways to say, "The outbreak is over." Mitigation strategies are really irrelevant because it doesn't make any difference. All you need to do is prevent people from dying and protect people in places like the nursing home, he said.